Women are abusing men on dates.
Woman took 23 of her family members on a blind date to test this man's generosity.
Women are abusing men on dates, so women are taking advantage of men for free food. They're even going as far as having these men pay for their groceries or demanding that these men pay for food for their children. In some cases, this is happening around the world. Women are taking their entire families on these dates and forcing these men to pay the bill for their entire family's meals. This is absolutely insane stuff. Watch the end of the video to fully understand how deep this abuse goes. And let me make this very clear. This is an extreme form of narcissistic abuse that is being leveraged against men, and how this will further affect the relationship between men and women in society. Also, guys, before we begin, don't forget that you can check out, if you want to protect yourself, protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Click the link in the description to get started and support the channel. Today's video is brought to us by Modern Dating here. His channel is linked in the description, so you can go and check him out. And let's jump into the video.
And well, obviously it backfired because she was left with a $3,100 bill. She even had to pay for his food and drink, so her plan definitely backfired.
Somehow she thought it would be a good idea to test her date generosity by taking her entire family with her, but it backfired heavily. She was left with the full bill, including his.
According to a new study, many women are choosing free meals over relationships. The study in the journal Social, Psychological, and Personality Science says up to a third of women have engaged in a foodie call. It's when a person sets up a date with somebody they have no romantic interest in, all for a free meal.
That's right. Studies show a third of all dates are just people trying to eat for free.
Guys, I told you about the foodies. That's what they're called. They're foodies. All right? And then you have women like, are you kidding me? I don't know any women who go on dates for free meals. You know, if you know one, you know, show them to me, because I don't do it. The reality is that she really, really liked you, and you didn't, and you know, you were insecure. And as a result of your insecurity, you now ruined the surprise.
Woman who has ever gone on a date only because you wanted a free meal? I'd love for you to raise your hands in the comment section. If you're a woman who goes into dating thinking specifically, how can I eat for free tonight? I would love to have a dialogue with you about this. I don't know any women who have enough time, energy, or the desire to go through everything that it takes to find someone to go on a date with them just so that they can get one meal. The motive isn't free food. I bet these women were genuinely interested in you, which is shocking, I'm sure. But this is something men love to tell themselves, that she's only going on a date because she wants free food. I bet these women could feed themselves. I bet they have jobs and make their own money. I bet they'd rather stay at home and DoorDash a meal to their plate.
They can't afford DoorDash. DoorDash is expensive as hell, y'all. Okay? As you can see, so now we have research studies that are showing that at least 1 out of every 3 women are using men just for free meals. They've been doing this for a while. They use dating applications like Tinder, where they'll tell the guy to come over and bring food, and then the guy brings food over, and they're waiting at the door in like their pajamas, and they basically take the food, make it awkward, so the guy will leave and then eat the food. Oh my God. Guys, you know, we've also talked, guys, we've been talking about this, that no one is hated more than men in Western society. All right, men are hated more than cockroaches. And the abuses that are being leveraged against men is ridiculous. You know, we talked about the fact that now in the UK, misogyny is now branded as a form of domestic terrorism, and basically they're not specifying what specifically it is, you know, can trigger this. But if a boy in school says something that is deemed as extremely misogynistic, the police will be called, the authorities will be called. It will be treated as a form of domestic terrorism. They will be taken away and presumably questioned, and their human rights will be suspended. That's right, because when you commit terrorism, your constitutional rights no longer exist. Your civilian rights are gone. So they suspend your human rights. You are held indefinitely, forced to confess. You can now spend many years incarcerated. You lose every privilege that you were afforded as a citizen in the state. You no longer have them. and you can be held indefinitely. You can be given a life sentence, and you can potentially face. Check this out. You can potentially face Control-Alt-Deletion because you have now committed an act of treason. That's correct. Don't forget that terrorism is counted as treason. So you would be caught. So you've committed an act of treason by being extremely misogynistic, and they're labeling single men who choose not to date or have relationships as a danger to society as well. And these men need to be investigated. I told you already. That's this whole thing where they are arresting men for playing video games, monitoring men in online spaces. Guys, investigating men for videos that they're watching on YouTube. It's about control. They don't want men coming together and asking questions. They don't want men waking up. They don't want men saying, "Hey, where does the money come from? How is our money? Where does our money come from? What gives money value?" They don't want you talking about this. All of these things have nothing to do with women and everything to do with controlling men, demoralizing men, and destroying them. I've said it plenty of times. If you want to destroy a country, destroy the men. And if you want to destroy the men, use the women to destroy the men. And what are women doing in Western society? They're doing everything they can to take advantage of men, to demoralize men, to create emotionally destroyed, distraught, and depressed men. Because this is how much they absolutely hate you. This is the reality of it. They just want your attention, your time, your money, and they will never, ever be able to reason with you unless they choose to, because women reason using feelings, not facts. So it doesn't matter what you say to them. The only thing that matters is how they feel.
So, fellas, sometimes that eggplant emoji just means I'm in the mood to eat eggplant.
In this economy, that's just smart. I mean, if you saw what we had to pick from, I think you'd want a free meal too. And this is why we split it 50-50. I've been on a few of those. One of them even got to order for her kid. I am always down for a footy call. I'm glad there's a term for what we've all been doing for years.
I'm glad there's a term for what we've all been doing for years. Foodie calls. I told you guys, they are foodies. It's out there now. Guys, you actually have videos now like for promoting like restaurants where like women are demanding men give them free food, and then you find out that the woman is not even sitting at the same table as he is. Like, that's how bad it is. Like, women are it's completely it's a shameless act where they're basically demanding free food. They don't want us. They don't like us, guys. They do not want us in society. They're saying that there should be no male. There should be no predominantly male spaces. They basically want men constantly under surveillance. This is the lifestyle, guys. Like, this is the reason why, guys. Like, if you look at the Philippines right now, something very terrible is going on with the Philippines, where now men in the Philippines have to go, and they have to every 2 months, request an extension every 2 months now. It's crazy. And it's very possible that they will not be given that extension. They have to go through a lot of they have to be scrutinized a lot. And I find it kind of stupid how a lot of these men are behaving. They're like, "Oh, I don't care. It's okay. It's okay. I'm willing to go there every 2 months. It's not even that bad." Like, these guys are stupid. A lot of these guys are stupid. They're not using their heads at all. Every 2 months, you have to go and request an extension. And they're like, "Oh, it's okay. It's okay." You're an idiot. You're an effing idiot if you're thinking that way. Every 2 months, you're living in a very dangerous situation. It's not every 6 months like it used to be. It's every 2 months. All right, you're not planning for the future. You could be thrown out of the country at any moment. "Oh, I don't care," because basically, as long as their balls are empty and their belly is full, they're not thinking about anything else. This is how very simple and how stupid some guys are. Because they're basically like, "Oh, I escaped the U.S." Bro, they can send you back at any moment. And what would you come back to? That's another big problem with a lot of men who go overseas, because they're not planning of what happens if you have to leave that country. What are you going to do? Where are you going to go? How are you going to come back to the U.S.? Where are you going to stay? What life are you going to live? You'll be flat broke in no time. You know, some of these guys, a lot of these guys barely have even $10,000 saved up. They're living in the Philippines. They come back to the U.S. When you count the cost of the flight, you know, finding a place to live, it's impossible. You don't have a job lined up. I mean, you may be making some money remotely. A lot of these guys are living off $1,000, $2,000 a month doing remote work. That's not enough to survive in the U.S. I mean, you got rid of everything that you owned and moved to the Philippines, and now you're back in the U.S. What are you going to do? It's like talking to It's like talking to children, and these guys will just look at you like they don't know what they don't know what you're talking about. Like how stupid do you have to be? How stupid do you have to be? And don't come to me like you're a child. All right, you're a grown ass adult. You know exactly what's going on, and then you want to sit there and start crying like a baby. Like you're not. Oh, they're not treating me fair. The world is not fair, dude. Grow the hell up. We've told you that plenty of times. All right, get with the damn program. Start planning. Use your damn heads. A lot of men they don't. Guys, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just so sick and tired of it. I am so sick and tired of it. But there you have it. I've been talking about it for ages. All right. And now women are like celebrating. They're like, oh, I'm glad we now have a name for what we've been doing to men for all of these years, using them for food for years.
This economy is affecting everyone. But when we think about the guys who are sponsoring those dinners, this matter becomes more interesting. This is one of the main reasons there is no need to do an expensive date, especially during the early stage of the interaction. It will remove everyone who intentionally just wants to get a free meal. They will be the first to reject it once they realize it won't be anywhere fancy.
Here's the problem. It doesn't always work like that. A lot of these women, for example, there's a guy, he told this woman, okay, we're going to go out and get drinks. All right. She's like, okay. As soon as they get into the car, she's like, okay, so where are you taking me? He goes, Starbucks. She goes, Starbucks? You said we were going out to eat. He says, no, I said we were going out to get drinks. She goes, yeah. And I assume that meant with food. And she basically starts berating him and attacking him and shaming him. And he tells her to get out of his car. And she starts screaming in the streets. She turns on her camera and starts recording him. This is what women are doing. When men refuse to take them to nice restaurants or buy them food, they turn on their cameras and they start recording these men immediately. And they start berating them and calling them broke. And she gets out of the car and starts screaming, he's broke, y'all. He's broke. He doesn't have any money. He doesn't have any money. And then they post the videos on social media thinking that they're going to garner attention and support and use these videos to destroy the man's life. And then they wonder why men are walking away. And they think that men are so weak and so defenseless in society right now that society can just do whatever the hell it wants to men, and they cannot be stopped because there are no social repercussions. Guys, a lot of women are going to find themselves living in extraordinary states of poverty, destitution, homelessness, living in shelters, in their cars, on the streets, or in the woods, as the government could no longer subsidize their living, and almost half of women will be childless and single in just 5.5 years. And those are just the women without children. When you factor in the women with children, you're going to be looking at a population of around 70 to 90% of women who are going to be single. And men are basically making just enough money to survive and thrive. And the more they tax men, the less men make. Men will just keep on lowering their tax bracket. And if they go after the wealth and resources of men, start taking our bank accounts away, seizing our wealth, well, we'll just stop keeping money. We'll stop keeping money in the bank. We'll keep whatever money that we have in digital currency. We'll keep, we'll basically trade our skills for service for the things that we need. We'll basically start growing our own food, living in. This is what men are doing. There's an entire economy right now I had no idea about, of people who just basically trade skills and services and products, things that they grow and whatever, for whatever they need, and that's how they live. There's a massive barter economy in the United States and other Western societies, and that's what men are going to do. Men will just basically barter for whatever they need. For example, somebody wants something from me. They want to learn something from me. Well, what can you trade me? What can you sell? What do you have that I need? Well, I have a farm, Angry, so I have a lot of things that I can do for you. I got a lot of food. I've got a lot of things I can send. I can ship all of these things to you. All right, just cover the shipping. Deal. All right. So I'll trade my skills, I'll trade my services, I'll trade my content, I'll trade whatever I have, all right? And I'll get a tons of food, tons of different things that I need, and we never involved money at all. No money at all. We basically just peg it alongside the dollar. So we look at the fair market value of this. We'll say, well, how much is this worth? How much would this be worth at fair market value? All right, so we do the calculation that way. I just figured it out. And then we basically go from there. Holy cow. So we do all of this. We completely eliminate the state, and we get everything. They get what they want. I get what I want. Yeah. And what do women do? Basically, guys, most women can't cook in Western society anymore. They cannot cook, they cannot clean, because they were told that cooking and cleaning is misogyny and patriarchy. Not simply cooking and cleaning for a man, but cooking and cleaning for oneself. So women no longer have the basic skill sets needed to even take care of themselves. They're basically up a creek without a paddle. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the content, subscribe to our newsletter for my personal thoughts, insights, and a free copy of my ebook, The Blueprint for Escaping the Rat Race. Click the link in the description to get your free copy. Also, subscribe to the Angry Guy Clips channel, where we post shorter videos and video responses, and also the Angry Guy Live channel, where we live stream. Both channels are linked in the description. And finally, guys, protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Click the link in the description to get started and support the channel. Guys, what do you think regarding all of this? Women are abusing men on dates. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers.